Wii U is a console that I have quite literally never really talked about, and never even touched one until I recently borrowed one for this review. So, thanks, friend. But I really wanted to see if it was as bad as some people made it out to be, or if maybe I could see why it failed, and I can kind of see what's going on from just experiencing the Wii U. But don't get me wrong, I like it. And I might actually buy it off my friend if he happens to be watching this. So this is the 2022 experience of using the Wii U. Let's dive right in. And this video is sponsored by Decala, the makers of a product that has helped me relax at night after a very long day. Their products offer 9 dynamic lighting effects with 60 million solid colors. You get a weather display, an alarm clock, snooze features, sleep aid mode, which is actually my favorite for falling asleep at night, direct app control, which also allows you for voice controls, and way more than that. This could be your next Bluetooth speaker that you opt for your setup, since it syncs so nicely with your music. And this offers a wireless charger for your mobile needs, a dual alarm clocks with progressive music, and lights to wake you up more naturally. This device has it all. By using my code TECHSUM and my link below, you can get 20% off your next purchase. So what are you waiting for? Sleep better with Decala. The exterior design consists of plastic like any other console. It's got a glossy black finish that looks nice, but it is a dust and fingerprint magnet. It's actually kind of an interesting shape with it being small yet long at the same time, and I think it works fine for throwing it under a TV stand or something like that. It kind of works. On the front, you're going to find your disc tray and buttons, along with a little flap that hides an SD card slot and 2 USB ports. On the back, there's going to be a cooling vent, HDMI port, AV in, another power adapter, but this is for accessories from my understanding, and 2 USB ports. The I/O here is going to be, honestly, fine. I quite appreciate it, especially for those USB ports. Pretty cool, and in terms of this console's overall design, I think it's pretty good. No complaints really, except for the finish itself. Now, the Wii U controller is an interesting one. It's like holding a smaller Steam Deck in a way, which is kind of hilarious. It's pretty lightweight in spite of its size and shape, and it does have a pretty unique layout. You get a camera in the front, which remains completely unused, your typical controls, but the analog sticks are all the way on top, and that display right in the middle. This display acts as a second screen, kind of like having a DS setup, I would say, but for the most part, it is just going to mirror what's going to happen on screen or on the Wii U itself. At least that was the case for games that don't support dual screens like Bayonetta 2. And by the way, this is a 6.2-inch 854 by 480 FWVGA display that is in fact touch sensitive and even features a stylus for navigation. I like the setup, and this controller is actually very comfortable in my opinion. I think that this is surprisingly well designed, and I can commend Nintendo for making something that appears so unwieldy to be pretty comfortable to use for most games. But this display is very low quality. The colors are off, there is a huge gap between the display and the surface, and it's pretty pixelated as well because it's so low resolution. And I will say that there is virtually no latency between this display and in your TV, which is great, but the quality is pretty bad. But you can at least take your game with you to the toilet if you need to, which always comes in handy, so I suppose that it is good enough for that. So you actually get an interface that resembles the one on the 3DS a lot, just a bunch of boxes that can easily look extremely empty when you first look at it, and probably will stay that way for a good while as well. You also get a look at your Mii characters that you've made, which is okay, I suppose. I never really saw the point in this besides just having somewhat of a spectacle, but it seemed unnecessary. But then again, what else are they going to put there? Anyway, the interface is simple. It's fine. And it is more interesting to look at than the one on the Switch. I kind of miss the amount of care that Nintendo used to put into their presentation on their menus with music, etc. That's really all I had to say about this interface though. Now, before we get into gaming, I wanted to talk about the eShop quickly. There are certainly interesting games in the Wii U's library, but there really weren't many that interested me personally. If you're going to grab any games, here are some that I would recommend getting. Breath of the Wild, Super Smash Bros. U, I believe it's called, Super Mario Bros. U, Mario Kart 8, Bayonetta 2, Animal Crossing, Child of Light, Mario Maker, and some other ones. But here are some caveats. 1. The eShop will be shutting down in March of 2023, so you better buy them quickly if you do intend on getting them. And secondly, all of these games are available on the Switch already. If not, superior versions of these games or sequels that you should consider instead. This is what I would say really makes it so that the Wii U just isn't really worth a purchase today. I want to buy it so that I can own it just for the sake of having it, but not because it's got some sick exclusives that I can't get anywhere else. This to me does keep me from buying the Wii U because I already own a Switch and get these games on the Switch instead while playing them at a higher resolution and being able to take them anywhere. However, there are other reasons I think of for why you might want a Wii U, and none of them actually have to do with what Nintendo offered with this console. But anyway, before we get into that, I needed to get into gaming, so I did. I bought a copy of Bayonetta 2 because I am certain that it is one of the most demanding games on the Wii U, and boy, is it incredible. This is such a fantastic game, and I'm so glad that this is the game I ended up picking up for it. I do wish that they would port this one to Steam like they did with Bayonetta 1, but hey, at least there are multiple ways of playing this game. There are plenty of gems to be enjoyed on the Wii U, but I would argue that you will run out sooner than you might expect or even want to. And also, I did actually want to point out that there was quite the difference in quality between what I was seeing on my TV, which is just a regular 1080p TV. I think this one's TCL. No, it's not. TCL. Yes, yes, it is TCL, not Insignia. And this is a 1080p TV, and the screen on the Wii U controller is 480p. The quality is vastly different. What I'm seeing on the TV is way better than what I'm seeing on the display of the Wii controller. So I would say that, honestly, just being able to sit down and play is really nice, but I also kind of found that second screen to be a little bit distracting because it was playing on that screen at the same time as it was playing on the TV. So if I would see anything on the TV and I would just quickly glance down to look at my controls, it would be kind of awkward to do just because I was still looking at another display. I was looking at the same thing happening again. So I would say that maybe for a gaming experience, it's just not really the best thing. I would probably just get a separate controller that doesn't have a display for it, quite frankly. But hey, I mean, again, you can take this thing to the bathroom, which is pretty awesome. So if you wanted a stationary console for emulation, then we are going to be looking at a rather impressive powerhouse from what I can see. Now, this is going to be the first part of my experience with the Wii U. My thoughts on the vanilla experience, but I will make a follow-up video, I promise, for emulation. I just needed more time to work on it, but what I can say is that based on my research, the Wii U emulates Wii and GameCube very well, obviously, and you can get RetroArch on it, so I think that this thing is going to have a lot of potential for someone who wants a stationary console for emulation. So you best believe that I will be making that video in due time, because as somebody that has been focusing on retro handhelds and that kind of thing, I think that it is only par for the course that I tried to do some emulation on the Wii U. Since it is an older console, I figured, why not give that a go? And I think that you guys might be interested in that. Sorry that it couldn't be brought over to this video, but I do promise to bring that about in due time. In conclusion, the vanilla experience of the Wii U just isn't really worth the cost of admission because you can have a superior experience on the Switch, since every game that I recommended that, like, for you to get, can be experienced much better on the Switch already. So the Wii U was going to get outclassed very easily and very quickly as a result. But also, there aren't really that many games on the Wii U that I would personally get, but that depends on the individual, of course. So as is, if you don't plan on tinkering with the Wii U to make it an emulation powerhouse, then I don't really recommend it because there are going to be better ways of experiencing Wii U games on a better system. But like I said, I will be taking a look at what the Wii U can really manage in terms of emulation with a bunch of different systems, and then make a follow-up video on that, because that on its own will be a long video as it is, and there is going to be quite a lot to look at. But I have to say that I did like the Wii U, and I think that if I personally had a Wii U back in 2012 and even just a few years later, I would have really liked the Wii U. Honestly though, I didn't even know that it existed until much after that, like maybe a year or two before the Switch came out. I wasn't really that in tune with Nintendo at that time. besides their handheld. But yeah, like the Wii U is honestly really cool. It's a pretty cool proof of concept that I really enjoyed using. I thought that, 2012 me, which was 15-year-old me, would have really liked it. And they did a very poor job in marketing this properly. Perhaps calling it the Wii U wasn't really the right move, because a lot of people did think that this was an accessory to the Wii instead of it being like its own console. I think that they could have done better in that regard, and that probably could have done a lot more for the Wii U. But the Wii U is really cool in my opinion. I can't see why it failed, but I still really like it. So those were my thoughts on the vanilla experience with the Wii U. I definitely had a lot of off-script moments for this video, and I hope that they were useful to you. So thank you so much for watching this video all the way up until the very end. I do very much appreciate it. For any physical Wii U games, and if I can find a Wii U on Amazon as well, I will probably leave affiliate links to that as well in the description. But I'm also going to be leaving them for Wii U games for physical ones, since you might as well get the physical ones in case you're not sure if you're going to buy out the entire store before it eventually shuts down. So yeah, I'm going to keep that into consideration. So links to everything down below, everything that I can find. I also wanted to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons, beginning with the tier 3s. So Omar, thanks a lot for all of your support, because it really does go a long way. And to everybody else who supports the Patreon as well, thank you so much, and I hope that you've been enjoying the perks so far. Now, with that said, follow me on Twitch and on Instagram. There is going to be a Twitch streaming schedule actually pretty soon, because I really have been intending on doing that. But with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and until next time, enjoy. Have a good one.